Let's talk about the two very different lives of Wernher von Braun. On one hand, he was the American hero who took us to the moon. On the other, a Nazi SS officer. So how did the guy who built Nazi terror weapons get America to the moon? It's a wild story.
For von Braun, it all started with one powerful, lifelong dream: space travel. And this wasn't just some scientific curiosity. It was a deeply personal ambition. And to make that dream happen, he'd take money and resources from, well, anyone. When the Nazis came to power, his project got a huge boost. He even joined the party. The result was the V-2 rocket. A terrifying weapon, sure, but also a technological marvel. But building it had a horrific cost. The Nazis used slave labor from concentration camps. And how involved was von Braun? He personally visited the underground factory at least a dozen times. He wasn't just watching from afar. He actually handpicked slave laborers from concentration camps. Then the war ends, but the Cold War begins. And the US wanted his expertise, badly. So through a secret program called Operation Paperclip, he and his team were brought to America. But to get his moon mission funded, he had to sell his dream to the American public. And you won't believe his partner, Walt Disney. He used TV to make space travel seem possible. Just like that, he became the friendly public face of the American space program. And his engineering genius was absolutely key to developing the Saturn V rocket that got us there. So how do we look back on this? One historian called it a Faustian bargain. For his part, von Braun never really took personal responsibility for his actions during the war. The US government found him useful, so they helped keep his Nazi past quiet. So was he a hero or a villain? The truth is, he's a much more complicated figure than that. He gave humanity one of its greatest achievements. But you have to ask, what was the price?